Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. You've probably heard the rumors, the whispers, the potential blockbuster move that could redefine the NFC East. And honestly, it's hard to ignore how seismic this could be for the Washington Commanders. We're talking about Micah Parsons, a player who has become a household name in the NFL, and who, believe it or not, might be on his way to the Commanders. Yes, you heard me right. Micah Parsons, the Dallas Cowboys' star pass rusher, could be traded, and if that happens, it would send shockwaves through the entire league, but especially within our division. Now, before we go into the details and speculate on how this could unfold, let's take a moment to appreciate just how incredible Parsons has been in his young career. He's approaching the final year of his rookie contract with Dallas, and that's always a pivotal time for NFL teams and players. The Cowboys, as we know, have been hesitant to lock him into a long-term deal, especially after his breakout season in 2023, where he led the league in sacks and pressures, making him arguably the most feared edge rusher in the NFL today. Parsons has been nothing short of spectacular, transforming from a promising rookie into a dominant force on the field. His stats speak volumes, 13 sacks as a rookie, which is impressive on its own, but what truly sets him apart are his pressures and overall pass rush consistency. In 2023, he led the NFL in pressures and pressures per pass rush, showing an elite ability to disrupt defenses at every turn. But beyond the numbers, it's Parsons' impact on the field, his leadership, and his attitude that make him a special player. He's a game changer, and it's no surprise that he's been widely regarded as a player who can redefine what it means to be a perennial superstar at linebacker and edge rusher. And yet, with his contract situation, he's entering a delicate phase. The Cowboys hold his fifth-year option, which guarantees him only for 2025, but he's yet to sign a long-term extension. Dallas's management, especially under the new regime, might be weighing their options. Do they pay top dollar to keep him? Or do they consider trading him if they think his value might peak now, or if they're worried about cap space and future flexibility? Now, here's where it gets really interesting from the Washington perspective. The Commanders, under new coaching and a renewed focus on their defense, are actively seeking a high-impact pass rusher. They've already lost Dante Fowler Jr. in free agency, and their pass rush, while promising, still needs that elite edge presence to truly elevate the unit. The hiring of Jack Del Rio as defensive coordinator, along with the hiring of Ron Rivera, has signaled a clear intent to rebuild and revamp the defensive line, especially the edge rushers. And what better way to do that than to bring in a proven, disruptive force like Micah Parsons? Let's talk about the mechanics of such a trade. The Cowboys are in a tricky spot because they're likely to want to retain Parsons if they can, especially if they believe he's the cornerstone of their defense for years to come. But if Parsons pushes for a change, or if Dallas feels the cost of a long-term extension is too high, they might consider trading him. From Washington's side, trading for Parsons could be seen as a high-reward move. Yes, giving up a first-round pick, possibly the 29th overall, could sting a little, but the upside of adding a player of Parsons' caliber is enormous. He instantly makes the Commanders' defense a top-tier unit, a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks, and a catalyst for turning around their recent defensive struggles. It's also worth noting that this kind of trade makes sense for Dallas in some ways. If they're hesitant to commit to a mega extension right now, especially with salary cap considerations and the potential for Parsons to demand a record-breaking deal, trading him could provide them with immediate cap relief and future flexibility. They might look at it as a way to reset their roster, especially if they're unsure about their long-term plans for Parsons. Reports suggest that the Cowboys want Parsons for life, but the reality is that NFL teams are always weighing cost versus benefit, and if Parsons' demands start to skyrocket, they might have to make a tough decision. Now, let's think about how this impacts the NFC East overall. The rivalry between Washington and Dallas is legendary, but a move like this would add a whole new layer of intrigue. Imagine Parsons lining up against the Cowboys' offensive line, or better yet, in a Commander's jersey, wreaking havoc on division rivals. His familiarity with Jack Del Rio's defensive schemes, having worked with him in Dallas, would make his transitions smoother and faster. Parsons, after all, has spoken highly of Del Rio, calling him my guy, and even jokingly saying in February 2024 that he might take me with him when Del Rio left for Washington. That kind of trust and familiarity could be a key factor in any potential trade discussions. From Washington's perspective, this is about more than just acquiring a star. It's about establishing a new identity on defense. A defense that can consistently pressure quarterbacks, create turnovers, and set the tone for the entire team. Parsons, in this role, would be a game changer. His presence would demand double teams, freeing up other players to make plays, and ultimately, it would elevate the overall level of the defense. Additionally, having a player like Parsons in Washington could serve as a mentorship figure for the younger pass rushers like Chase Young, if he's still with the team, or others coming up through the ranks. Of course, such a bold move comes with its risks. Trading a first-round pick, especially in a draft class that might have some promising talents, is never a decision to take lightly. But in a division where every game counts, and where the margin for error is razor-thin, having that extra elite player can be the difference between a playoff appearance and an early offseason. The NFC East is fiercely competitive, with teams like Philadelphia, Dallas, and the Giants all vying for supremacy. Adding Parsons to Washington's roster could tilt the balance, giving them a legitimate shot at competing at a higher level. And let's not forget, Parsons' motivation and system fit are also key factors. If he's drawn to the idea of playing under Jack Del Rio, the same coordinator who helped him flourish in Dallas, that could be a strong incentive for him to consider joining the Commanders. His respect for Del Rio and the familiarity with the defensive scheme could make the transition smoother, and perhaps even more appealing if the Cowboys hesitate or demand too much in return. Now, looking ahead, what are the realistic scenarios? Well, the Cowboys might decide to franchise tag Parsons if they want to keep him, but aren't ready to commit to a long-term deal. That could mean a contract around $30 million per year, making him one of the highest-paid defenders in the league. But if they're wary of that commitment, a trade might be the better route. For Washington, offering a first-round pick could be enough to get the deal done, especially if they're convinced Parsons is the missing piece to finally elevate their defense to elite status. The broader context, this potential trade highlights just how dynamic the NFL has become. Teams are increasingly willing to make bold moves, especially within divisions, to gain competitive advantages. A player of Parsons' caliber doesn't come around often, and acquiring him could be a statement move for the Commanders, signaling to their rivals that they're serious about competing at the highest level. It's a chess match, with Dallas weighing their options and Washington ready to pounce if the opportunity arises. At the end of the day, though, it's all about the players and the impact they can have on the field. Parsons is a game winner, a player who can change the outcome of a game with his pass-rushing prowess. If he joins the Commanders, it could transform their defense overnight, giving them the kind of talent that can carry a team deep into the playoffs. For us fans, it's an exciting, nerve-wracking time, but one thing, for sure, this potential move could be a defining moment for the franchise and for the division. So, what do you think? Would the Commanders be willing to give up a first-round pick for Parsons? Do you believe he would thrive in Washington's system, especially under Jack Del Rio's coaching? And how do you see this affecting the NFC East rivalry in the upcoming seasons? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion really matters to us and to the Washington Commanders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned to this channel for all the latest Washington Commanders news. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal.